All right, do you have to go here?
Oh, we can do one more.
All right. Louisville at Clemson. Clemson's 10.5 point favorites. Jeff Brom, we know, loves elevating his bag when he's playing against great football teams. And Clemson, I'm going to put them in there as a great football team because I was arguing with someone whose schedule is stronger at this point. Ohio State's, right, or Clemson's. People are already kind of penciling in Ohio State as a college football playoff team. And, you know, Clemson, I feel like, hasn't been getting a lot of love. Cade Klubnik is fourth or fifth in the Heisman odds right now. He's playing really good football, and I might have to soon start. Once he starts playing better teams like Louisville, I might have to start walking back on some of the things that I've said about Cade Klubnik and his limitations that I believed he had as a passer. He's kind of been playing really good football, but sneakily so is Louisville, right? I mean, Louisville has been playing good football. They just haven't won. They haven't won the big one yet with Jeff Brom in this season.
Yeah, they've been in a ton of close games this year. We talked about the big ones: SMU, Notre Dame, Miami. A couple of ranked football teams there. Yeah, all one-score losses, even one-score wins in conference against Virginia and Boston College on the road. Here they are on the road again at Clemson, 10.5 point dogs, and that is a terrifying sight because I'm going to go Clemson. And like you said, we know how Jeff Brown plays, in these big-time games, especially when he's not supposed to win them. Man, oh man, oh man. I just think they've turned a corner here, Clemson. I think Kate Klubnik is playing really well. I think Phil Maffa is an elite running back in the ACC. They're getting healthy at the wide receiver position with getting back Tyler Brown, getting back Wesco, having TJ Moore emerge, a true freshman. Olsen, Pat Henry, the young tight end. Antonio Williams is still there, bringing Stalls a monster as well. At tight end position, we talked about this year early in the season. We talked about this, in the offseason. I said, I really like this wide receiver core. I really like this weapon room for Cade Klubnik, and they have been proving me right other than the Georgia game, right? I think this is the first time we do mention their schedule. Their schedule's terrible. Like, there's no if and buts about it. Like, North Carolina State, Stanford, FSU, Wake, Virginia, like, none of those are good football teams. A couple of them will make bowl games. That's it. Like, it's the bottom of the barrel in the ACC. They got a much tougher slate in November, starting with Louisville, on the road against Virginia Tech, on the road against Pitt, and South Carolina at the end of the year. I think we'll find out a lot more about if the team we've seen for the last 9 weeks is the actual Clemson, or is it going to be more like the team we saw in week 1 against Georgia? I lean the team the last 9 weeks. I think they turned the corner. I think they're a really good football team. I'm going to go Clemson minus 10.5. And hint, I feel really good about that in terms of my conviction for that. So you might see them coming up on a later segment in the show. So, yeah, Clemson minus 10.5.
I'll take Louisville to cover, Clemson to win. I'm going to middle again, so that's what I've middled 4 games so far in our picks. Yeah, one score games has been the theme for Louisville this year. I think they keep it close. I think Jeff Brom, Tyler Shuck is good, guys. He's been good when he's healthy. He's good, and I know Colin Lacey opted out for the rest of the season. I don't care, quite frankly, because they were good with and without him. Ja'Cory Brooks is that dude, man. He is that dude. And we talked about it. We talked about both Colin Lacey and Ja'Cory Brooks. I think I'm happy to say that you and I think we're both higher on the Ja'Cory Brooks transfer get than the Colin Lacey one. And people just kind of slept on it because they looked at Colin Lacey, they box score sniped, and they're like, and they didn't realize that Colin Lacey's what, like 5'7", 5'8", and he's only going to be playing in that slot, and he's pretty limited in what he can do. He's very good after the catch. But Ja'Cory Brooks does a lot for this football team. I think definitely he'll be an X factor. He's got to have 100-plus yards to win this football game. I also think Isaac Brown's got to get going a little bit here on the ground. I think Jeff Brom is going to have to be in his bag to keep this a close game. But I do think, backdoor covers are in play. I think, just Cade Klubnik, there still are some doubts in my mind, even though he's been playing really well. Like, what defenses has he played against in the last, 8 weeks that you're really impressed by? And the answer's none, right? The answer's none. Now, Louisville's defense has been a little bit shaky at times.
I was going to say, I don't know if Louisville's defense is
Times.
going to add to that total.
Right, but like how many are they? Is this Louisville team, aside from Georgia, Is this Louisville team the best defense that they've played? Or could you argue that?
It's probably the best defense they've played because it's not Wake Forest, it's not Stanford, Lord knows it's not North Carolina State. App State's terrible. I mean, Florida State, if you want to just say talent and collection of talent, maybe, but again, they're not very good defensively right now. Yeah,
So
it's probably
I'm just
Louisville for sure, but it's not by like this crazy margin. I don't
no,
think
no, no.
Louisville's a stingy
Louisville's
defense at all.
no.
It's it's
They have not generated a lot of turnovers. They're having a tough time getting to the quarterback. They're giving up a lot in the ground game. This Louisville defense is much worse than it was, just a year ago, and even 2 years ago when they had Yaya Diaby and the other edge rusher that I'm forgetting the name, when they like basically led the country in sacks. They also haven't been good in the red zone, and Clemson has been, I believe, very nice there. Yeah, they're 32nd in the country in red zone scoring percentage. So it's an interesting matchup here, but I do think not that Louisville's defense is really good, but I think it's better than what Clemson has seen. So even if Cade Klubnik takes a little bit of a schneid since what we've seen from him, I think Jeff Brom can potentially keep Louisville in this game because he is a tier A coach in college football.
absolutely, and I do think in terms of we talked about Clemson and who they've played. I think Louisville doing their defenses they've played. Miami's defense very talented, right? I don't know how the coaching's been this year
Notre
because
Dame,
well, that's what I was going to say. It's been the best defense since Notre Dame, best defensive line since Notre Dame. You got to have guys like T.J. Parker. You got to have Peyton Page. You got to got these very talented, guys in the front seven: Barrett Carter, Wade Woodaz, right? Even the young kid Sammy Brown. They had to be difference makers for you. I can't believe I forgot Peter Woods. Like they had to be difference makers for you because it doesn't matter what Jeff Brown's scheming up if they're just getting physically overwhelmed at the line of scrimmage. And now yes, Louisville put up yards and they played, okay. They put up 24 points against Notre Dame, but I didn't think it was crazy efficient. Not what we're used to seeing, not what we saw against
Isaac
Miami.
Brown averaged 5.5 yards per carry against Notre Dame. I think that's lost in the
I mean,
sauce a little bit.
well, yeah, and he's a really good football player, but Shuck was, 24 of 41 with an interception.
But they hadn't gone to Isaac Brown. Like that was like when they started going to Isaac Brown.
That's true. That's
And
true.
so who knows if Notre Dame and Louisville were to play again? I think it's an interesting game there. That they kept that a one-score game. I think Clemson's a better football team than Notre Dame. I don't want that to get lost there, but I think Louisville is just playing. They're playing too good of football to not be winning games. So give me Louisville plus 10.5 here.
By the way, they should not have beaten Boston College, or I don't think they should have.
No, maybe not.
Or maybe they could have easily lost that game. I'll change my mind there, but they could have easily lost that game.